The bits and pieces of this story all come to a head while bringing new meaning to how the little things in life can get into your hair. Hello and welcome. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with me and my gang of 9 today. My name is Raymond Schaff, and I'm the author of Confessions of a Level 9 Nerd. You can buy a copy online at Amazon.com. Read the book. After reading the book, take it to where you work and leave it in your break room with an attached note that says, "Please do not read during working hours." This will ensure that several people will read it. You can verify your personal nerd level near the end of this video, as you will see all the requirements for being a level 1 through level 9 nerd displayed before your very eyes just for a few seconds. Take a moment to remember that this is just a story in a book. So put your mind in neutral. Then sit back, get comfortable, and join us as we chip away through Chapter 9. Chad. Cloaked in a graveyard shift for 2 years while punching mainframe computer buttons convinced me it was time to shed the darkness that surrounded me and enter the 9-to-5 rat race among the living. After all, we're a brand new family of 3 now and wanted to share the fruits of Carol Ann's labor. Jennifer, Adam, Greg. Fueled by big iron credentials, I grabbed a computer operations supervisor position despite my non-existent soft skills. Supply versus demand ruled the day, and I supplied the demand. It turned out to be a textbook example of what could go wrong when the science of computing collides with the art of human relations. A month into the new position, I herded my crew around our small mainframe to expose them to yet another nerd tale, extracted from my vast 2 years of experience in computing systems. Feigning as much interest as they felt I needed, the crew of computer operators mentally prepared themselves for my latest epistle. Minutes into my blathering, a subordinate crew member reached her daily limit of my ego. Walking over to our computer's high-speed card reader, she deftly reached around the unit and unlatched one of the 2 safety locking pins. Hearing unusual clicking sounds, I turned towards her to investigate what's going on. With impeccable timing, she stepped aside from the chattering card reader and snapped open the second safety locking pin. In a split second, a dozen data cards hurtled through the breached emergency overflow gate and out towards me. The one after another data cards, traveling at the speed of fear, rocketed out of the card reader on their 3-foot journey before hitting me in the groin area and then fluttering their way down to the elevated flooring tiles. In one disjointed movement, I spun around while bending over as if someone had punched me in the stomach. The ensuing target was too irresistible as my coworker released a second blast of cards that ricocheted off my backside. I began to dance in front of the computer system like a pummeled piñata, to the screams of laughter from all of my crew members. The party-like atmosphere died down much faster than my pierced ego, during which time my co-worker stumbled through an apology, suggesting that her hand must have accidentally tripped open both safety locking mechanisms. For the remainder of the day, giant wheels of revenge rolled around in my tiny mind, inflaming the humiliation I so richly deserved. 2 hours into the following business morning, still nursing a bruised ego, I found myself tending to the needs of an impossibly slow IBM 514 reproducing card punch machine. Located in a cramped corner of our computer room, the noise from the card punch machine melted away as a familiar snake-like hissing filled the computer room. I turned just enough to catch a brief glimpse of a co-worker lacquering her massive afro hairdo with an oversized can of hairspray. The very same person who so egregiously assaulted me with flying data cards from the computer's high-speed card reader the previous day. Whipping the can of hairspray around her head in vertical 8 patterns, launched countless micro droplets of sticky mixtures into an already glistening afro. The daily ritual preceded her mid-morning promenade past the warehouseman on her way to the corporate lunchroom for a break. I turned back to check the pokey progress of my card-punching machine when a plan of revenge exploded inside my brain. Vaporizing any thoughts of consequences, I yanked open my card punch internal hopper storage bin and clawed up a fistful of expended Chad. Chad are the tiny pieces of punched data cards, the same type of Chad that became infamous in the American presidential campaign of 2000, where, in the end, the United States Supreme Court let the chips fall where they may. Enduring the pain inflicted by hundreds of sharp Chad pieces biting at my palm and fingertips, I began my bombing mission towards the towering afro on the opposite side of the computer room. My target, sensing danger, responded by scurrying over to the computer system's high-speed card reader and placed her right hand over the release mechanisms. I stopped an arm's length in front of her and flashed a sardonic grin. She answered my gesture with, "Would you like some more today?" She was obviously referring to her vicious, heinous, and ego-deflating high-speed card reader attack on my person. I retorted in strained voice, "You should be celebrating your cunning ways, so I say, hail to the Queen of Computing!" I wound up my right arm and swung my fist towards her while popping open my fingers at the last possible second. An airburst delivery of Chad exploded inches above her hairline. To my astonishment, the cloud of chips flying through the air simply vanished into her glistening afro. Every piece found a nook or cranny to fill. With the reflexes of a startled cat, she shook her head in every direction known to humankind, causing the uncountable little pieces of Chad to wrangle their way down to the deepest recesses of her hairstyling efforts. The sticky droplets of fresh hairspray sealed the progress of each piece of Chad, along with a guaranteed reprisal. The momentary silence that separated us vaporized as verbiage emanating from her mouth caused my short lifespan to just flash right before my eyes. She chased me to the adjacent warehouse with all 10 of her long fingernails armed and ready to inflict maximum damage. The skirt she was wearing prevented her from following me as I climbed up 2 stories of heavy-duty steel warehouse shelf framing like a startled spider. High up on top of the structure, I found safety and solace behind a stack of empty shipping pallets. I experienced alternating feelings of extreme joy at her inability to climb up the structure and sheer terror of the thought she might somehow figure out how to claw her way up and reach me. During the subsequent meeting with our boss, apologies were exchanged, job saved, and agreement reached between both of us that data cards and or CHAD used in a way to create violence of any sort in the computer room would not be tolerated. The experience taught me a valuable lesson about how the tiny things in life can get into your head and create havoc for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here is a level 9 nerd tip for cleaning the inside front windshield of your car. Here's a great nerd tip for cleaning the inside of your windshields in your car. Get some good glass cleaner, spray it up real good, and then instead of doing something like this, that's the old wrong way, here's the right way. Get inside your car backwards. Come in backwards and then reach behind you with your arms. You have more strength. It doesn't look like it's comfortable, but it actually is. Right hand. It's the right way to do it. So do it. And now it's time to open my wall safe for a safe, off-the-wall story about hiding things in plain sight. As an adjunct instructor at a local junior college, I had the opportunity to teach a variety of information technology courses down through the years. My introduction to computing class must have been popular as students signed up for it based on prior experiences of friends and family members. I tried to be creative when giving quizzes using a wide variety of techniques designed to keep students on their toes, so to speak. Once each semester, I gave a quiz like this one, allowing students just a few minutes to complete. At the beginning of the class, I handed each student a highlighter pen to mark true or false for each question. To keep the students realizing that there's an obvious test pattern, I reminded them once each minute during the 15-minute quiz of their time remaining. When the time was up, I asked the students to grade the quiz themselves and then hand them in to me for recording. After a few seconds of silence, a student or two would ask, "How do we self-grade the quiz if we don't know the answers?" I explained to them that if the first letter of the first word in the question began with the letter T, the answer was true. And if the first letter of the first word in the question began with F, it was false. The groans from the students was always palpable, and my reward for spending time writing the rigged questions. Cloaked in a graveyard shift for 2 years while punching mainframe computers, made me feel like Batman. Cut! Enduring the pain inflicted by my neighbor's lawnmower, cut! She answered my gesture with, "Would you like s'mores today?" I said, "No, I only eat s'mores on camping trips." Cut!